There is a moment most people experience at some point in their financial lives, a moment where they look at their bank account, then look at how hard they have been working, and genuinely cannot reconcile the two. The numbers do not match the effort. The savings are not there. The progress feels invisible. And the instinct, almost universally, is to blame themselves, their discipline, their habits, their choices. But what if the problem runs deeper than behavior? What if the architecture of the human brain itself was never built for the financial world we now live in? The human brain is approximately 300,000 years old in its current form. And for the overwhelming majority of that time, it was solving a completely different set of problems. Survival meant consuming resources immediately because storing them was dangerous and uncertain. It meant responding to visible, present threats rather than distant, abstract ones. It meant prioritizing the social group because being excluded from the tribe was, quite literally, a death sentence. Every one of those ancient survival mechanisms is still running inside you today, and every single one of them works against long-term wealth building in the modern economy. Psychologists call one of the most powerful of these mechanisms hyperbolic discounting. The tendency for the brain to dramatically overvalue rewards that are available right now compared to rewards that are larger but further away. In laboratory settings, the effect is striking and consistent. Given the choice between $100 today or $150 in 30 days, the majority of people choose the immediate reward. Even though waiting 30 days for a 50% return would be considered an extraordinary investment by any rational financial standard, the brain does not process future money the same way it processes present money. Future money is abstract. Present money feels real. And the emotional weight of that difference shapes financial decisions every single day, usually without any conscious awareness that it is happening. This is compounded by what behavioral economists call loss aversion, a cognitive bias so deeply embedded in human psychology that researchers have estimated losses feel approximately twice as painful as equivalent gains. Feel pleasurable. Losing $1,000 activates a measurably stronger emotional response than gaining $1,000, which means the brain is perpetually biased toward protecting what it already has, rather than taking calculated risks to grow it. In evolutionary terms, this made perfect sense. Losing your food supply was catastrophic in a way that finding extra food simply was not. But in the context of investing and wealth building, loss aversion pushes people away from markets during downturns, causes premature selling during volatility, and makes the discomfort of watching a portfolio temporarily decline feel far more urgent than the logic of long-term compounding would ever suggest it should. Then there is the social dimension, which may be the most financially destructive force of all. The human brain is exquisitely sensitive to social comparison, not as a flaw, but as a feature that evolved to help individuals maintain their position within a group. In a small tribal community, that sensitivity was calibrated against a few dozen people in close physical proximity. In the modern world, it is calibrated against an algorithmically curated feed of the most aspirational moments from thousands of people simultaneously. The result is a chronic, low-level feeling of financial inadequacy that drives spending not toward genuine need or even genuine desire, but toward social signaling, toward the car, the apartment, the wardrobe, the vacation, that communicates a status that bank account does not actually support. This is not vanity. It is neurology operating exactly as it was designed to in an environment it was never designed for. Understanding this does not solve the problem automatically, but it fundamentally changes the relationship a person has with their own financial behavior. The goal is not to override human nature through sheer willpower. That strategy has a poor historical track record. The goal is to design systems that work with the brain's tendencies rather than against them. Automating savings removes the present bias decision entirely. Framing investment contributions as a fixed, non-negotiable expense removes loss aversion from the equation. Deliberately limiting social comparison inputs reduces the environmental pressure that drives status spending. These are not motivational suggestions. They are structural interventions that account for how the brain actually works. The most important shift is not financial, it is cognitive. Recognizing that your impulses around money are not character flaws, but evolutionary inheritances changes the internal conversation entirely. You are not undisciplined. You are human, operating a 300,000-year-old brain in a financial system that has existed for a fraction of that time. The gap between those two timelines is where most financial struggle lives, and understanding that gap is the first and most meaningful step toward closing it. If this changed the way you think about money, you're already ahead of most people. Drop a comment, which bias hits closest to home for you? Hyperbolic discounting, loss aversion, or social comparison? And if you want more of this, subscribe. There's a lot more coming.